Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the command center deep inside Cheyenne Mountain. His coffee had gone cold hours ago, but he did not care. The screens in front of him showed something that made his blood run cold. Hundreds of red dots filled the LID display, each one representing an alien ship that had just appeared near Neptune. "Sir, we have confirmation," said Lieutenant Kelly Brooks from her station. 347 vessels of unknown design. They just dropped out of what looks like hyperspace. Jake had been waiting for this day his entire career. Earth Defense Command had been watching the skies for 50 years, ever since the first alien signals were detected. They knew someone would come eventually. They just hoped they would have more time to prepare. "Get me Commander Walsh," Jake ordered, "and patch me through to the President immediately." The ships were massive. The largest one was over 2 miles long, shaped like a giant spear with wings. Smaller ships surrounded it like angry wasps around their nest. They moved in perfect formation, heading slowly toward the inner solar system. Commander Amy Walsh arrived at the command center within minutes. She was Earth's best expert on alien languages and culture. Her team had been studying intercepted alien communications for decades, preparing for this exact moment. "What do we have, Amy?" Jake asked. "They are sending a message on all frequencies," Amy replied, sitting down at her workstation. "Give me a few minutes to run it through our translation systems." Jake watched the alien fleet on the main screen. They were not rushing. They moved like predators who knew their prey had nowhere to run. It was the confidence of a hunter who had done this many times before. President Ben Carter's face appeared on the secure communication screen. He looked tired, but his voice was steady. "Admiral Morrison, what is our situation?" "Mr. President, we have a large alien fleet that just entered our solar system. Commander Walsh is working on their message now." "How large is large?" "Over 300 ships, sir. The biggest one is huge. They are heading our way, but taking their time." Amy looked up from her computer. "I have got something. They are calling themselves the Draconian Empire. The message is pretty simple. They want us to surrender completely within 72 hours. Jake felt his stomach drop. "What exactly does it say?" Amy read from her screen. "People of Earth, you are now subjects of the Draconian Empire. You have 72 hours to surrender all military forces and government control. Resistance is pointless. Submit, and some of you will live as slaves. Fight, and all of you will die. This is the only warning you will receive." The command center fell silent. Jake had known this day might come, but hearing the actual words made it real. An alien empire had come to conquer Earth, and they thought it would be easy. "Mr. President," Jake said, "I am calling an emergency meeting of the Shadow Council. We need General Hayes and Captain Holland here immediately." President Carter nodded. "Do it. I will contact the other world leaders. We have 72 hours to figure this out." Within an hour, the key people were gathered in the secure conference room. General Lisa Hayes looked as calm as always. She had been preparing for this day longer than anyone. Captain Chris Holland had just returned from a secret mission in the outer solar system, and his ship Nightfall was still docked at the hidden Luna base. "What do we know about them?" President Carter asked. Captain Holland spoke first. "My ship got close enough to scan them without being detected. Their technology is advanced, but not as much as we expected. They use energy shields and projectile weapons. Their ships are tough, but follow old design patterns." General Hayes opened a classified folder. "Mr. President, what I'm about to tell you cannot leave this room. For the past 50 years, we have been building a secret defense network. The public thinks our space program is small and peaceful. They are wrong." She pressed a button, and new information appeared on the screens. "We have 12 Dreadnought-class battleships hidden throughout the solar system. We have weapons platforms disguised as asteroids. We have technology that these aliens have never seen before." President Carter stared at the information. "How many people know about this?" "Less than 5,000 worldwide," General Hayes replied. "Everyone involved has sworn to secrecy. The alien watchers, the shipbuilders, the weapon designers. They All know that humanity's survival depends on keeping these secrets. Jake looked at the alien fleet again. They were now past Neptune and heading toward Uranus, still moving slowly, still confident that Earth would break and surrender before they even had to fight. What kind of empire are we dealing with? President, Carter asked. Amy had been studying the alien communications all day. From what I can tell, they have conquered at least 17 different worlds. They always follow the same pattern. Show up with a big fleet, demand surrender, destroy anyone who fights back and enslave the survivors. How many times has this strategy failed them? Asked General Hayes. Never, Amy replied. According to their own communications, no species has ever successfully resisted them. They think we are just another primitive planet that will roll over and give up. Captain Holland smiled for the first time all day. Then they are in for a big surprise. President Carter looked around the room at the faces of Earth's defenders. So what do? Do we fight them now while they are still far away? General Lai. Hayes shook her head. No, sir. We wait. We let them think we are scared and helpless. We let them come closer. And when they are right where we want them, we show them what humanity is really capable of. Jake felt a cold smile cross his face. The aliens thought they were hunting sheep. They had no idea they were about to meet wolves. The 72-hour countdown began at exactly midnight, Earth time. Around the world, people watched their screens as news reporters tried to explain what was happening. Most humans had no idea that their planet had been preparing for this moment for 50 years. Emperor Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Conqueror of Worlds. Through the massive viewing window, he could see his fleet spread out across space like a cloud of death. Each ship was a weapon that had destroyed countless civilizations. Today, they would add Earth to that list. Begin the approach, he ordered. Slow and steady. I want these humans to watch us coming. I want them to understand their hopelessness. The draconian fleet began moving toward the inner solar system. They traveled at half speed, taking their time. Emperor Vextar enjoyed the psychological effect. Every hour that passed would make the humans more desperate and afraid. On Earth, Commander Alex Stone stood in the control room of Luna Base, humanity's secret military station on the dark side of the moon. To the rest of the world, Luna Base was a small research facility with maybe 50 scientists. In reality, it housed over 2,000 of Earth's best soldiers and contained enough weapons to level a continent. Begin evacuation procedures, Alex ordered his staff. Move all non-essential personnel to the underground bunkers. Make it look like we are panicking. The evacuation was carefully planned theater. News cameras filmed people running in apparent terror, loading onto emergency shuttles and fleeing toward Earth. What the cameras did not show were the real military personnel moving deeper into the base, preparing weapons that had been hidden for decades. Lieutenant Grace Park sat in the communications center, listening to every word the aliens said to each other. Her job was to intercept and translate draconian communications. What she heard made her angry. They are talking about dividing up our planet, she reported to Commander Stone. They have already decided which cities to destroy first. They want to kill 10 million people as an example to the rest of us. Alex felt his jaw clench. What else? They are discussing what to do with the survivors. They plan to keep about 1 billion humans alive as slaves. The rest they will kill for sport. Alex had known the aliens were evil, but hearing their casual discussion of genocide made it personal. Keep listening. I want to know everything they are planning. Far from Earth, hidden in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Matt Rivers commanded the dreadnought ship Defender. His vessel was over a mile long and carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. To anyone watching, it looked like just another asteroid drifting through space. Status report, Matt asked his crew. All systems green, Captain, replied his weapons officer. We have been drifting here for 3 years, but everything is ready for combat. Matt looked at the display showing the alien fleet's position. They will be in range in 36 hours. Begin pre-flight checks on all systems. I want this ship ready to fight the moment we get the order. The Defender was one of 12 identical ships hidden throughout the solar system. Each one had been built in secret, using technology that combined human engineering with improvements learned from studying alien signals. The Draconians had no idea these ships existed. Dr. Claire Thompson worked frantically in her laboratory deep inside Cheyenne Mountain. She was Earth's leading expert on alien biology, and her research could be the key to winning the coming battle. "I found something," she called to her assistants. "Look at these scans of their ship designs." On her computer screen were detailed images of Draconian vessels captured by human spy satellites over the past day. Claire had been studying them for any weakness that could be exploited. "See this section here?" She pointed to a part of the alien ship's hull. "Their shield generators are placed outside the main armor. It makes them more powerful but also more vulnerable. If we can hit them with the right frequency, we can overload their entire defensive system." Her assistant, Dr. Kevin Moore, studied the data. "Are you sure? If we are wrong about this, our ships will be destroyed." Claire smiled, grimly. "I have been studying alien technology for 20 years. Their arrogance is built into their ship design. They make their weapons obvious and their defenses predictable because they have never faced anyone smart enough to exploit their weaknesses." At a secret military base in Nevada, Sergeant Luke Davis prepared his Special Forces team for a mission that seemed impossible. Their job was to board and capture alien ships during the coming battle. "Listen up," Luke told his men. "We have been training for this for 10 years. We know their ship layouts. We know their weapons. We know their weaknesses. Most importantly, we know they have never fought humans before." His team wore armor designed specifically for fighting Draconians. The suits could survive in the vacuum of space, resist alien energy, weapons, and move faster than any alien warrior could react. Each soldier carried weapons that fired projectiles designed to penetrate Draconian scales. "Remember," Luke continued, "they think we are primitive. They expect us to be slow and stupid. Use that against them. Move fast, hit hard, and show them what human soldiers can really do." Back on the Draconian flagship, Intelligence Officer Corvex was having doubts. Something about the human response bothered him, but he could not figure out what. "Your Majesty," he approached Emperor Vextar carefully. "I have been studying the human communication patterns. Something seems strange." "What do you mean?" the Emperor asked. Their response was too confident. "In all our previous conquests, even the bravest species showed some fear when they saw our fleet. These humans acted like they expected us to leave." Emperor Vextar waved a clawed hand dismissively. "You worry too much. Look at their planet. They cannot even stop fighting each other long enough to unite against us. Their technology is centuries behind ours. They have nothing that could threaten us." Corvex was not convinced, but he knew better than to argue with the Emperor. "Yes, Your Majesty, perhaps you are right." As the second day of the countdown began, the Draconian fleet passed the orbit of Saturn. They were now halfway to Earth, and their confidence continued to grow. Emperor Vextar broadcast a message to his entire fleet, reminding them of their glorious purpose. "Warriors of the Empire." His voice echoed through hundreds of ships. "Tomorrow we will add another world to our domain. These humans think they can frighten us with empty words. Soon they will learn the price of defying the Draconian Empire." On Earth, Admiral Morrison watched the alien fleet's progress from his command center. Every hour brought them closer, but he felt no fear. Humanity had spent 50 years preparing for this moment, and they were as ready as they would ever be. "Tatko, stations report ready," said Lieutenant Brooks. "The hidden fleet is in position. Weapons platforms are armed. Ground forces are prepared. We are ready for Phase 1. Admiral Morrison nodded. "Good. Let them come. Let them think they have already won. When they realize their mistake, it will be too late." The countdown continued. 54 hours remaining until the alien deadline. 54 hours until the Draconian Empire learned that some prey fights back. The Draconian fleet reached Mars orbit with 6 hours left on their ultimatum. Emperor Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the red planet drift past. Soon he would add Earth to his collection of conquered worlds, and another species would kneel before the might of his empire. "Begin final approach formations," he commanded. I want every ship in perfect position for the assault. The massive alien fleet began to arrange itself in the pattern they had used for centuries. Large battleships took the center, surrounded by cruisers and destroyers. Support ships moved to the rear. It was a formation that had never failed them, tested in the conquest of 17 different worlds. Fleet Commander Zarketh supervised the positioning from his own ship. All vessels report ready, Your Majesty. We can begin the attack on your command. Emperor Vextar smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Not yet. First, I want to send a message to the galaxy. Let every species know that the Draconian Empire has claimed another world. Hidden behind Mars, Admiral Dan Cooper watched the alien movements through sensors that the Draconians could not detect. He had been waiting in this position for 2 years, commanding a defense network that most humans did not even know existed. They are doing exactly what we expected, he reported to Admiral Morrison back on Earth. Same formation, same tactics. They have not learned anything new in centuries. Admiral Morrison's voice came through the secure channel. How long until they are in the kill zone? 4 hours, sir. Maybe less if they maintain current speed. Dan looked at his tactical display. Scattered throughout the inner solar system, dozens of weapon platforms waited for his command. Each one looked like a piece of space debris or a small asteroid. The aliens had scanned them multiple times and found nothing threatening. On Earth, Dr. Claire Thompson made final checks on her research. Her discovery about Draconian shield weaknesses could be the key to victory, but everything had to be perfect. Run the simulation one more time, she told her team. I want to be absolutely certain about the frequency patterns. Her computer displayed the results. Confirmed. If we hit their shield generators with weapons tuned to 847.3 terahertz, their entire defensive grid will collapse. The feedback will also disable their main engines for approximately 30 seconds. Dr. Claire's assistant looked worried. What if we are wrong? What if their shields are different than what we calculated? Then we all die, Claire replied calmly. But I have been studying their technology for 20 years. Their arrogance makes them predictable. They use the same designs on every ship because they have never needed to improve them. Emperor Vextar activated the galaxy-wide communication system. Across dozens of star systems, enslaved species would hear his announcement. Some would feel despair, knowing another free world was about to fall. Others might feel relief that the Draconian Empire was focused on someone else. People of the galaxy. His voice echoed across space. Today, the Draconian Empire claims its 18th world. The species called humans thought they could threaten us with empty words. Soon, you will see what happens to those who defy our power. On the planet Zelthara, former home of a proud warrior race, the surviving population listened to the broadcast in their slave camps. Elder Crixon remembered when his people had tried to resist the Draconian invasion. It had lasted 3 days. Before their world was crushed. Another species falls, he whispered to his fellow prisoners. The humans lasted longer than most with their threats, but it will end the same way. On Earth, millions of people gathered around television screens and computer monitors. Most of them believed they were about to witness the end of human civilization. They had no idea that their planet had been preparing for this moment for half a century. President Carter addressed the world one final time before the battle began. My fellow humans, we face our greatest challenge today, but we do not face it helpless. We do not face it alone, and we do not face it without hope. In the secret bunker beneath Cheyenne Mountain, Sergeant Luke Davis and his Special Forces team made final preparations. Their mission was dangerous beyond belief. While the main battle raged in space, they would board alien ships and capture them from the inside. Remember your training, Luke told his soldiers. The Draconians are bigger and stronger than us, but they are not faster. They have never fought an enemy that uses our tactics. Use that advantage. Each soldier checked their equipment one last time. Their armor was designed to work in the vacuum of space. Their weapons fired projectiles that could penetrate Draconian scales. Most importantly, their training had prepared them for fighting. In alien ship environments, Private Jenny Walsh, the youngest member of the team, looked nervous. Sergeant, what if their ships are different inside than what we studied? Luke smiled confidently. Then we improvise. Humans are good at that. The aliens follow rigid patterns because it has always worked for them. When those patterns fail, they will not know how to adapt. Back in space, the Draconian fleet continued its final approach. Emperor Vextar watched Earth grow larger on his view screen. The blue and white planet looked peaceful and defenseless. Soon it would be covered in the smoke of burning cities. "Your Majesty," Intelligence Officer Corvex approached hesitantly. "I am still detecting some unusual energy readings from the inner system." Emperor Vextar was getting tired of his intelligence officer's worries. "What kind of readings?" I'm not sure. They might be natural phenomena, or maybe some kind of primitive human technology. Should we investigate?" "No. We have wasted enough time on human foolishness. Whatever they have, it cannot threaten us. Begin the final attack sequence." "Admiral." Cooper received the signal he had been waiting for. "All stations, this is Admiral Cooper. The aliens are beginning their final approach. All units move to attack positions. This is not a drill." Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet came alive. Ships that had been drifting silent for years powered up their engines. Weapon platforms revealed their true nature. Soldiers who had trained their entire lives for this moment prepared for battle. Captain Matt Rivers felt his ship defender shake as the main engines came online. "All hands, this is the captain. Today we show these aliens what happens when they threaten Earth. Make every shot count." The Draconian fleet reached the point of no return. They were now too close to Earth to retreat quickly, committed to their attack formation. Emperor Vexustar prepared to give the order that would begin the assault on humanity. He had no idea that he had just made the biggest mistake in the history of his empire. Emperor Vextar raised his clawed hand to give the order to attack Earth. The 72 hours had passed and the humans had not surrendered. Now they would pay the price for their foolish defiance. "Begin the assault," he commanded. "Destroy their major cities first. I want them to understand their mistake before they die." But before his weapons could fire, space around the Draconian fleet suddenly filled with light. Hundreds of objects that had looked like asteroids and space debris began to glow with power. What the aliens had dismissed as harmless rocks revealed themselves to be massive weapon platforms. Admiral Cooper spoke into his communicator from his hidden command ship. "All stations, fire at will. Show them what humanity really looks like when we are angry." The first wave of human weapons struck the Draconian fleet like a hammer blow. Energy beams tuned to exactly 847.3 terahertz, just as Dr. Claire Thompson had calculated, hit the alien shield generators. The Draconian defensive systems, which had protected them for centuries, collapsed instantly. On the flagship, alarms screamed as the ship's shields failed completely. Emperor Vextar stared in shock as his view screen showed explosions throughout his fleet. "What is happening? How are they doing this?" Fleet Commander Zarketh frantically checked his instruments. "Our shields are down. All of them. Every ship in the fleet has lost defensive power." But the humans were just getting started. From behind Jupiter, 12 massive ships emerged from hiding. Each one was over a mile long and bristling with weapons that the Draconians had never seen before. Captain Matt Rivers commanded the lead ship defender. "This is for every world you have conquered," Matt said as he targeted the nearest alien battleship. "And this is for threatening our home." The human dreadnoughts opened fire with weapons that made the alien guns look like toys. Streams of projectiles, moving at incredible speed, tore through Draconian hulls that no longer had shields to protect them. Ships that had conquered 17 worlds exploded like fireworks. Emperor Vextar watched in growing horror as his mighty fleet was torn apart. "This is impossible. They are primitives. They barely have space travel." Intelligence Officer Corvex was studying the human ships with instruments that were somehow still working. "Your Majesty, these vessels are using technology I have never seen before. Their weapons are more advanced than ours. Their tactics are superior to ours." "Retreat!" Emperor Vexitar screamed. "All ships retreat immediately." But it was too late. The human fleet had positioned itself perfectly. Every escape route was blocked by ships that seemed to appear from nowhere. The Draconians were trapped in a kill zone that had been planned for decades. Sergeant Luke Davis and his Special Forces team launched from their hidden position toward the Draconian flagship. Their small assault craft moved faster than any alien ship could track, designed specifically for boarding operations. "Remember," Luke told his team as they approached the enemy vessel, "they have never fought humans before. Use that advantage." Human soldiers cut through the alien hull like it was made of paper. Their weapons and tools were designed specifically for fighting Draconians. Within minutes, they were inside the flagship, moving through corridors that they had studied for years. The alien crew inside the ship had never faced borders before. They were trained to fight in space battles, not hand-to-hand combat in their own hallways. The human soldiers moved like ghosts, striking fast and disappearing before the aliens could react. Private Jenny Walsh found herself face-to-face with a Draconian warrior twice her size. The alien was stronger than her, but she was faster and smarter. She used tactics that no Draconian had ever encountered, turning the alien's strength against him. Within an hour, Sergeant Davis and his team had captured the flagship's bridge. Emperor Vextar found himself staring at creatures he had dismissed as primitive, now holding weapons pointed at his head. "You said we had 72 hours to surrender," Luke said calmly. "Well, your time is up." Throughout the solar system, the battle was ending. The Draconian Empire's mighty fleet was either destroyed or captured. Ships that had seemed unstoppable were now drifting hulks. The few alien vessels that tried to escape were hunted down by human fighters that moved like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Morrison contacted all remaining Draconian ships. "This is Admiral Morrison of Earth Defense Command. You have one chance to surrender, take it." The surviving aliens, their confidence shattered, gave up immediately. They had never faced defeat before and did not know how to handle it. Across in the galaxy, dozens of enslaved species watched in amazement. The humans had not just survived the Draconian assault, they had destroyed it completely. On the planet Zelthara, Elder Crixon stared at his communication device in shock. "They won," he whispered. "The humans actually won." Word spread quickly through the galaxy. The Draconian Empire, which had seemed unstoppable for centuries, had been crushed in a single battle. The species that everyone expected to fall in hours had instead revealed themselves as the most dangerous predators in known space. Emperor Vexitar, now a prisoner on his own ship, looked at Luke Davis with something approaching respect. How did you hide all of this?" "We scanned your system completely," Luke smiled. "We have been watching the galaxy for 50 years. We knew someone like you would come eventually. We prepared for everything you could do, and then we prepared for more. But your planet looked so divided. You fight constant wars against each other. That is what makes us strong," Luke replied. "We learn from every fight. We improve after every battle. You conquered 17 worlds using the same tactics every time. We studied those tactics and built countermeasures for all of them." President Carter addressed the galaxy using the same communication system that Emperor Vexitar had used to announce Earth's conquest. But the message was very different. "People of the galaxy, this is President Carter of Earth. The Draconian Empire came to our world demanding surrender. We gave them a warning. They should have listened." He paused, letting his words sink in across dozens of star systems. "Earth is not defenseless. Humanity is not weak. Any empire that threatens our world will meet the same fate as the Draconians. But to those who come in peace, who seek friendship instead of conquest, our hand is extended in welcome." On planets throughout the galaxy, enslaved populations began to whisper about freedom. If the humans could defeat the Draconian Empire, maybe there was hope for everyone. Admiral Morrison stood in his command center, watching the last alien ship surrender. 50 years of preparation had paid off. Earth was safe, and the galaxy now knew that humanity was not prey. The warning had been real. The aliens should have listened.